everybody. I'm Steph.
I'm Michael.
Today, we are going to run down our top 10 favorite games that we learned in, what day is it? January 2021.
If you only had a calendar.
If I only had a calendar, dang it. I will get one of those calendars one day.
Yeah, I hear you can get it from this website right here.
Oh, yes, that's correct. Hey, if you need a calendar, I have calendars for sale, and then you'll know what day it is.
Yeah, like you.
Yeah.
So yeah, January.
It was a good month of games. I didn't learn a whole lot, but what I did learn was good. And some solid games that will be a staple in the collection for a long time.
Absolutely. And this time I did not have a problem with games bunching up at the bottom end of the collection. I had a lot of games bunching up at the top end.
Ooh.
So I had a really difficult time choosing a lot of the order on a lot of these.
Yeah, me too. I had, I think, 3 8 out of 10s, and it always gets challenging when everything's rated the same, and you're like, well, what do I like better? But they're totally different types of games and different circumstances call for different, wants and stuff. So, it always is difficult trying to rearrange, like, those ratings and what
Well,
you like a little bit more.
I had a lot of the same type of games. So
well, that's true. You learned a bunch of. Well,
I
so
learned a bunch of
you learned a lot of like heavy Euros. We played a bunch of heavy Euros.
Exactly. And so I've got a lot of heavy Euros on my list. So if you love heavy Euros, you're going to like this list. So
I
yeah.
know. I'm like, oh, we gotta play this. We gotta play this. We gotta play this. We gotta play this.
But because we played so many good games, both of us had the same game at number 11.
Oh yeah.
So probably worth
a shout
at
out.
least a shout out because it barely missed both of our lists. And that game is Fossilis.
Fossilis, yeah. It's a cool game. I mean the production's really cool. Aside from like the player boards, but the tiles and the digging and the little like dino bones or like the tweezers, everything about it is like fun. The toy factor is fun. And it's a nice little like set collection type game. Gotta get the bones and complete your dinosaurs, and yeah, I think it's really cute, and I think it will work really well with families.
Yeah, absolutely. But it works for both gamers and for families. So I think that it would. It's not. I don't want to give the impression that it's just a game for families.
I agree. Yeah, it's not. I'm just saying,
it's got a lot of.
I would have loved that as a kid, like so much because.
Oh, absolutely. Because all I had was Payday and careers and things like that.
I had Payday too. It's a great game. But yeah, it's just having that little bit of strategy as a kid. You want to think about things, and it's just there's a little bit more there than just like the average kids game. So I think. And it works well for strategy gamers, like you said. It's just it's on the lighter side, but it's good. It's really good.
Now I think it might have barely missed my list because of one little quirk in the scoring mechanic. We tried the first game that we played. We both tried collecting full dinosaurs, and the points were miserable. And then we tried to just collect. We had one piece of a dinosaur. We'd flip it over. Another piece of a dinosaur, flip it over. Trying to get those sets collected. And maybe it was just because it was 2 players, but the scores were much different that second game. So it's almost like, why create a full dinosaur? Does that change with 3 or 4 players? I'm not sure.
I don't see how it would. I think it's still in your best interest just to get one piece and flip over the dinosaur because there's so much riding on the collection of types of the features that the dinosaurs offer.
Then all that could be fixed by a scoring balance thing, where if they had made it more attractive to create those sets, so that because you're not collecting sets, if you could collect full dinos and it was worth a little more, then there would be an interesting decision there. But I think as it is, there's not really only one path to victory, and that's by collecting one piece and flipping, because the set collection is so strong scoring wise. I might be wrong because we've only played it twice, but that's not to say that it's still not. It's still a fun game. So
It is. So I agree, but I mean, I agree with all of that. I think that, if there was a little bit more incentive to actually completing a dinosaur, that would be better. Even if it's like, if you complete this dinosaur, get this free bone or something for the next dinosaur,
right.
or something like, it doesn't have to necessarily be points, but it's just some sort of benefit,
How about a
uh,
one-time ability?
or
I mean,
something like
yeah,
that. Yeah. So,
yeah.
just a little bit more incentive as to, completing the dinosaurs fully. I agree.
Hey,
That's
how
good.
about a fossilist expansion? That might fix
Ah,
it.
true.
So anyway, I didn't want to completely leave it off the list because it has such unique mechanics with the little tile shifting and everything. And I don't think it was just a gimmick. I think it really does, add something to the strategy. So I wanted to give it a shout out since it barely missed both of our lists. So
Yeah, it was right there, right there.
so this one actually goes to 11.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's a special number 11 for us. Okay, what's your number 10?
My number 10 is a game that we recently played on the stream, and that is Kohaku.
Ooh,
So a game where you've got a lot of you're drafting tiles from a central pool, and you have to draft tiles that are next to each other and then place them into your grid. And you cannot place coin next to coin. You cannot place features next to features. And it's got a lot of the when I'm looking for set collection type games and scoring combos, that's the sort of stuff I'm looking for. Is things that will this tile will help boost this tile, will help boost this tile, and oh, I can put this and it fits right into that spot on my map. And those those games have really good strategy elements. So I really like games like this.
this may or may not be on my list later on,
May or
but
may not. So you might have to talk about it later.
I really like this one just because it's like very simple, very elegant, and it's like, okay, we've probably seen things similar to it in the
Yes,
history of games, but it's beautiful production, and it's a nice game, and I really like it.
high quality tiles.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I like the tactile aspect of it. Um, it would work on a digital platform, but I like the feel of the tiles. I mean, whenever there are board games that you can play in person or digitally, there a lot of people will say there's just something to holding the cards or the components or whatever, and I totally get that. So although I'm definitely a digital gamer, I'm never going to leave the cardboard realm because it's just too good.
It is. It is. And I even played Kohaku online on
Oh, did
TTS.
you?
I did.
I have not done that.
It is on TTS, like a
Nice.
approved mod and everything. So if you want to check it out, you can check it out there. And it works fine. I just, it's not the same as playing it on the table, though. So
Right.
there's that.
Now, there are a lot of games that you can fix the fiddliness of the game by having a digital implementation.
Oh
This does
yeah.
not need that at all.
No, no, no.
Because you draft two tiles and then two shift and two come on. It's not a lot of you're not doing a lot of sorting. Now, something like Through the Ages, where you got a lot of cube pushing and calculating, a dominant species, where you got a lot of calculating for which species is dominant. A lot of those things can indeed be improved by digital adaptations. Kohaku doesn't need it. I'd highly recommend going out and, even though it's on TTS, pick you up a copy and
It's
play
nice.
it.
It's a nice game. So I
Yep.
definitely recommend it.
And it's got a solo mechanic. So
Puzzly.
because it plays 1 to 4, so you can play it solo.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. All right.
So
My number 10.
wow, it ranks an 8.0 with only 48 ratings, but it's already got a really good start at 8.0. So that's by Gold Seal Games and 25th Century Games. So I know Chad is a big supporter of your channel. So
Yeah. Hopefully
yeah,
he shows up.
yeah, hopefully.
My
Your
number
number
10.
10, not a
Yay.
new one.
No, it's not a new one. It's Mystery Rummy. Murders in the Rue Morgue. There's a orangutan on the loose killing people, I guess.
Yes, from 1999.
Hey, I go
So,
by whatever games are new to me, and this was new to me. So,
yep, I believe that it was originally published by U.S. Game Systems, but I also see listed as publishers Pegasus Spiel
oh, okay.
and Kaisa Chess and Games. That might be a foreign publisher, and Eagle Griffin. So,
Oh, okay.
this has actually been published by several different, but I think it was originally U.S. Game Systems. So,
Okay. Yeah, I don't
um,
know.
so there are several games in the Mystery Rummy series. Think there are 5. Let me take a look here.
I've only
Um,
played the first one so far, and now the second one
first,
here.
the first and the second. Yes, there are indeed 5, and we have all 5 of them, but you just haven't played them.
I haven't
And
played them.
I have not played the 4th and 5th. And technically, Wyatt Earp, people say, is in that. Yes, it is a rummy game. No, it is not in this series.
Yeah.
Yes, I
I
think
didn't
it's
really like
worth
that one
owning.
as much.
I liked it. So, yeah, I think that all of these are solid. But hey, this is I've already played it, so it's not going to be on my top 10. So, yeah, talk about your
Well, so
experiences.
I mean, so it's just like any rummy game, right? And
Not like any of them. It
well,
has different things.
well, it has different things, right? But you're melding, you're playing cards off of other people based on their melds and stuff. And it follows the same line of the Mystery Rummy series where there's like 2 of one type, like the light blue and the dark blue. If you get both of them, you get a bonus. So there's that mechanic. I don't know if that follows through for the rest of them, but the first one had that as well. I believe the Jack the Ripper, I think, had that. But what is nice about this game is the orangutan. So when you meld, you're actually going to take a look at the top of the deck and the top of the discard pile and put one underneath the orangutan. And if you're the first to go out, you get to score what the orangutan has, eaten or whatever. You could add those cards to your melds, to your tableau if it falls in line, or if there's 3 of a kind that he's eaten, then you could add those to your and score. And so it's interesting because you're like, well, I think I'm gonna go out first, so I'm gonna try and put this under here and get that, and then I don't think I'm gonna go out first, so I'm going to put this dead card that he doesn't want under there. So, I think it's a nice little extra feature in the game, and I really liked it. And
And
maybe
not all
one
melds are equal.
day, once we play them all, we'll play them all in line on the stream and just
You
play
could have
one
a
after
mystery
another.
rummy stream. Yeah, it'd be a mystery rummy night.
It would be a mystery rummy night.
So I think the cool thing with that, not only is the orangutan feature cool, I think that it's a cool feature that not all of the melds are equal. Most of them have 5 cards in the deck. So 3 of them, if you've got 3, then the other 2, you're not going to get a full set of it. You could play on somebody else's, but I could be ended up holding those 2 cards. You having 2 cards, whoever gets it first is going to possibly go out, leaving me with a bunch of cards that are dead to me, which is bad.
Yeah.
But there's also some, you say some of them have light blue and dark blue. Well, some of them are worth more points, but they don't have a corresponding other color match. And I think that makes it interesting. The one with only 4 cards in the deck, that's worth slightly more points. And so I think that there's some other interesting mechanics going on rather than just meld 3, put them on the table, meld 3, put them on the table. So there's quite a bit of strategy to be had there.
Yeah, I mean, if you like
So,
card games, these are ones to check out for sure. The Mystery Rummy
absolutely.
series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Jack the Ripper is my favorite, but that might just be because it was my first, and it was your first as well. But Rue Morgue is really solid, and I think I actually appreciate it more now than I did when I first played it. So, all
Cool.
right,
Yeah.
my number 9.
Yeah. What's your number 9?
Path of Light and Shadow.
Path I thought this might have been a little bit higher for you. So you must have a lot of
Well,
good
there's
games
been
above it.
there's a lot of good games on this list. Yeah, so this is from 2017. You've got lots of different factions on the board, and uh, your main guy is on the map and going around to different areas and activating different areas. You're always going to be recruiting someone from an area, and it's always going to be this low level character that's going to clog up your deck. But you're trying to take those characters and either cull them out of your deck or upgrade them to make them better. Now, there's a catch. There's a light and dark mechanic, which I love mechanics like that, where you're trying to, it's your own internal struggle whether you're going to go to the light side or the dark side. If you cull people out, you're basically literally culling them out of your civilization. It's like kill them. And you go toward the dark side. If you promote them, you'll go up toward the light side, or if you recruit them, you'll go up toward the light side. Things like that. So, and there are certain there are certain aren't there like end game mechanics where like you're trying to get like the first one to get to a 12 light side
So
or
yeah,
dark side.
they're what are they called? They're like, I forget what they're called in the game, but there's three different like goals, I guess. But they're not goals.
But they're variable.
They're allies. They're called allies.
Allies, but they're variable, right? So it's not the same every game. So like the game we played, it was the first one to get to max out your light side or dark side. Well, Steph creeps toward the light side. I go headlong to the light side, and wasn't actually meaning to until I got one. I got incredibly lucky with my draws. So there, in each of these decks. All right, so like let's say you're in the plains area, you are mostly going to get plains people, but you could get one from like a neighboring area, like a hills creature, or you might end up with this magic user, the this little magical adept, and they're really really strong, but they take a lot to upgrade. Well, I was drawing all of them. Steph was having none of them, so and so I got one of my magical adepts upgraded, and it really keyed on having light side points. So I went headlong toward the light side, upgrading those magic users and getting them going. Originally I was like, hey, I got this magic user. I could kill off all the other ones in my deck, and I'll have this really strong, compact core, and it didn't turn out that way. So I have a feeling that every single game of this is going to be just a little bit different. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting, and I liked it from the first time I played it. With more players, I don't think it works nearly as well, but
I think that's probably why it was on your possibly keep, possibly get rid of shelf.
Yeah, I had a bad game,
and that's why we played it.
That is why we played it. And I'm like, I know you're gonna like this one. And I was right.
Hey, guess what?
Shout out to my mom. Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom. So this is by Indie Boards and Cards, and I don't know if it's still in print. However, I see a copy in the geek market for $35, so it does exist. It says Amazon, $80 on Amazon, so I'm assuming it might be harder to find, but there are still copies out there that are affordable. So
yeah. Okay.
Move me around.
I'm moving you around.
All right.
Trying.
You're number 9. You're number 9.
My number 9. Number 9 is Roll Right Daifugo. Roll Right Daifugo.
Hey, Ref.
Yeah. So
there it is.
Yeah.
I've not played it, so I can't comment on it.
No, I know.
At all.
This is one that Dan's like, hey, let's play. And so he was like rolling dice and then typing in the results of the dice in the chat, and we're all like writing down things. like, oh, these are the numbers we get to use. It's definitely a unique roll and write game. It's so your board is like split up into different sections of 3 numbers, and so every time you roll the dice, it's gonna be like 661 or whatever. You put that 661 in the one section of your board in those 3 bubbles, and so you're trying to make columns of like the same number, if you will. Because after you filled in your whole board, I think it's like 12 rounds of 3 numbers each, and you fill in all the sections. After that, you'll get all the columns of the value of each of these sections, and then you're gonna play like a climbing game, like Tishu. And so you're trying to get rid of all your numbers first. And it's so weird because okay, so like if you have like if like 10 of your 12 columns are like the number 7, for example, well then you have a set of 10 sevens. So like if you can get the lead with the last one of like if you got a column of like 24 and then somebody plays like a 1 and then you could play 24 and then you win that trick or whatever, and then you could lead your 10 sevens and be like, can anybody beat that? And then you go out with your next card or something. So it's like your next number. And so you're just trying to get rid of all of the numbers of the column. It's like so weird. It's very weird. But it all comes down to whoever can go out first with the numbers you created in the columns. It's so neat. It's really different and so it's weird. It's weird and very cool because I haven't seen anything like it. Because, you know, like a climbing game, you're just trying to like get your hand out, right? You're trying to play all your cards. Or like any trick-taking game, you're like trying to get rid of your cards. And so you're making your cards with these numbers columns. So it's cool. It's a cool game.
So this is the Japanese game. Is it readily available?
No, it's not, of course. But you know what? We did a print and play. You know, you just take any 3d6s and you can print out the sheet from the BGG is where I got my sheet, and we played. And it's awesome. It's really cool. And hopefully it will come readily available so we can all get it.
Right. Well, hopefully the score boosts up a little bit because so far the opinionated gamers have mostly played it.
Yeah.
And the rating is not great right now. The rating is at 6.6.
It's because nobody's played it.
No, it's because the only people who have played it are the opinionated gamers.
Well, yeah, and they're all,
I mean, you've got Derek and is that Rand? Yeah, Rand. And
I know Rand. You might know Rand.
Yeah. Tukana, Dan, Shrey, Game Mark from around here. Who is that? Mark Jackson. Oh, I know Mark. And somebody from Portland. That's the only people who have played it, and it rates 5, 6, 7s, and 8s to get an average of 6.6.
I mean, I don't, like many Japanese games, it's like they do weird things combining mechanics, but I think what this is doing is fairly interesting, and it just makes you go, what?
Right. So, yeah, I would assume that that's going to go up a little bit whenever you put your rating in there, because your rating is not in there yet.
Oh yeah, I have to go and do all that for my January. Yeah. Normally I go in after the New to Me blog and just copy and paste all my reviews and put in my numbers, so I have to do that still.
And you are the queen of roll and writes, so
I have played like all of them. And I was actually saying to I think Laura on Time Roller's stream yesterday, they were talking about like floor plan and all the roll and writes and everything. But you know what? I should just go in and rate all the 100 roll and write, quote unquote roll and write games I've played, which is like basically all of them. I've played
all of them.
I've basically played them all.
I was not a fan of floor plan.
Neither was I. I told her, yeah, that was totally unimpressed. And she was like, oh, my heart. I'm like, I'm sorry.
There are so many better games out there.
There's so many better, unfortunately. Yeah. I wanted to love it. I did. But I sold it. I just didn't really work for me that well. So there are just so many good roll and writes, flipping rights, whatever, drafting rights. Like
things
so many.
Really have to stand out, or it gets put on the sale pile. At least here, because we've got 1,800 games, and yeah,
exactly.
That's not good. It's not going down anytime soon, especially since you got another shipment from Rob. So. if you're looking for games, Steph has games for sale. So
I mean, I got games for sale, but I also have good recommendations if you like something, and I can point you in direction of other things that are like it or better.
yep. And there are a lot of games on. So there are a lot of games on the for sale list that are good games that a lot of times we already have. So
Yeah,
just because it's on the for sale list doesn't mean it's a bad game or one that
right.
we don't like. It's a lot of times it's because we've got extra copies of things. So like for instance, we just got Eldritch Horror, and I love Eldritch Horror, but that's a second copy, so we don't need a second copy.
Right.
So
So now we have one
yeah,
for sale.
so we have one for sale. One of the must-have, well, he said must-have, but I think it's must-have rolling rights, perhaps for another time.
Yeah, yeah. I should go and rate all of the roll and writes that I've done and just make a geek list. And
Well,
people,
spoiler alert, I'm going to have rolling right in my list.
me too. I have a roll and write that's a must have. That's in this
Yes,
top 10.
I think it's
So
a must, especially for serious gamers. I think it is a must-have.
I agree. I agree. And that's coming up. So
That's coming up.
let's keep going. Let's move. Let's move on. Let's move it.
Moving.
We're on to what? Numbers
Well,
8.
you are cracking the whip. Um, on number 8 is Fields of Green, which is not new to you. It was new
Oh,
to
okay.
me.
Yeah.
So it is not a direct reimplementation of Among the Stars, but it is heavily inspired by Among the Stars.
Oh yeah, it's
So
basically Among the Stars with like upgraded ideas, mechanics.
yeah, well, that and I think that the upgraded ideas is probably what makes it
Oh yeah,
good enough. I never played Among the Stars.
it's still worth
Uh,
playing.
I got it. I got it from a BGG freebie at
Oh,
one of the BGG cons,
all
I
right.
think,
Okay.
or maybe it was New Dawn, which was like an Among the Stars
Yeah, that's
universe
totally
thing.
different.
Is it?
Yes.
I can't remember which one I got. I think it might have been New Dawn. Now that I think about it. Anyway, Fields of Green from Artipia Games. There are going to be 4 different rounds, and you draw up cards. You get to each year you get to put in a certain amount of cards that you draw. Early on, you want things that produce base level things. Later on in the game, you're going to want buildings, which will give you bonuses based on what other lower level things you've put in your farm. And I think that you'll put these square shaped cards into your tableau, and based on how far away they are, you're feeding water to these fields, or you are feeding animals with the food on the fields, and you're going to have other buildings that need to be close to certain animals and certain animals that don't want to be close to certain animals, and earning points a lot of different ways. And I think it's just really interesting how they bring everything together from that. So,
I like the
um,
tableau building. I like
yep.
how you can choose which cards you want to add depend like as the game goes on. You every
And
round
that, I think
you're
that's new
choosing.
to it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's another one of those new
So that
ideas.
yeah, that gives a little bit more strategy, like less buildings that score at the end of the game at the beginning, and then more of those at towards the end of the game, and hopefully you find the ones you want, kind of thing.
And I think they say your first game, draw this your first round, this your second round, and they lead you through it so that you don't just draft even numbers of things, and you don't go building heavy at the start, which would totally ruin it, I think. But by the end of the game, I was like, I think I know which ones I want now, and I didn't have to explicitly follow their recommendations. But I like that they give those, and it's probably what they had for Among the Stars. This is indeed what you are drafting, but I think giving people an option, I think, is really
Well,
good.
so among the stars, you actually had a hand of cards, and you choose one, you pass.
Oh wow,
It's that type of drafting, and this is a
this
different
is different.
type of
Yeah,
drafting. Yeah,
yeah.
common pool.
So I at the end you'll usually want more buildings, but I had a building that needed to have a lot of base level farms around it. So I was drafting those even on round 4 because I knew number one, you didn't want them, so I could pick them up for cheap. Number two, if there were any building, there would probably be enough buildings that you would draft that you would put into into the market. So
Right, and just as you said, like in the first round, like when we played, I put in a building in the first round just because, yeah, you want to try and start planning for these buildings also,
exactly,
but you don't have much money, so it's hard to
but you
like.
don't have much money.
You can't get it all. You can't get it all.
Never give your players everything they want.
No, money's tight.
Um, money is tight. So this is from 2016 from Artipia Games. I do see.
Stronghold put it out too.
Oh, did they? Okay, I
I
like
don't.
Stronghold.
I don't know if it's still in print. I don't know, but you could probably get it on the Geek for fairly
Uh,
cheap.
I see it on Amazon for
Oh, okay.
$38, so that's good. And I do see like 48 copies in the Geek Market.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
Uh,
probably like all over the Geek market.
all over the world though, because I believe so. The designer Vangelis Bagiartakis. So, what a Greek designer, and it was German produced at one point. Um, so there's a lot of copies worldwide. Some that are 20, some that are 30. So you could pick it up rather cheaply. I
I
see
feel
one
like
copy right now for 20.
I got it at a con, obviously VFM, probably for like $10, $15.
Two copies for 20, three copies for 20, four copies for 20. Yeah, you can get this rather affordably. So, and yeah, that's what we do. We connect you to games you might like. This was actually on your potential on your bubble shelf.
We
We'll start.
we played a bunch from the bubble shelf, which
Yeah,
is why
which is
they're
good.
because it gets some on your nude game
Yep.
list.
And yeah, so this is actually one that we decided to keep from the bubble shelf. There were a lot that we didn't keep from the bubble shelf. So,
All right, so let's see. My number 8 is
number 8.
Beyond Baker Street. Really like this one.
Yeah.
This is a cooperative game, very much like Hanabi, with a little bit different mechanics, but the same idea where you're holding cards out where other people are telling you you have a 5 and a 5, and then you're trying to deduce what you might have so you can play it appropriately to the tableau. And you're
Right.
just trying to solve the case. And if you run out of time, or there's a lot of ways to lose. So don't lose.
Don't lose.
Don't
Um,
lose.
so yeah, in the game we played on the stream, we turned up a suspect, a motive, and what was it? We suspect, motive, and opportunity, and they were all the same suit, so to speak. They were all witnesses, and because they were all witnesses, there's no possible way that we can do all of them. So we got rid of one, turned up another one. There was another witness,
I
and it's like, are
know.
you kidding me right now? Because if you get rid of 3 in a stack, you're done. So, but we had to do it. But the more you do it, the more that Sherlock moves along. Now it says that there are 6 cases in the box. There's not really 6 cases. I think of them more as difficulty levels.
Yeah, they're
There's
definitely
6.
difficulty levels.
Yeah, and so we lost it the first time at the easiest, and then we won it on the easiest, and probably could have taken the next step up, and we would have been right on the edge of losing the next step up.
Though that like level 6 difficulty looks really hard.
I mean, things would have to line up
Things
really
would have to
well.
line up, and you'd have to be like really good at guessing what you think you have. Like,
Yes. So I think because of that, because of those different mechanics, I think it uses the Hanabi, you know, your hand is blind mechanic, but adds on a lot more to it, not just a little more to it. So I think I like Hanabi for its elegance, but I like this differently because of what it adds in there. And so I think that there's enough there that it is distinctly different. Um, Now that's not to say that I rate this better than Hanabi. I like the elegance that Hanabi brings. The puzzle aspect. This doesn't have as much of a puzzle aspect as it is. You're trying to mitigate. You're trying to race homes. So it's sort of like a race game that Hanabi isn't. So
yeah. I like it.
I like it. Yeah. It did not. Spoiler alert. That one did not make my list. It barely missed my list because there were so many good games that I played that you've played in previous months, and that they're finally reaching my list.
I
So
know. Well, I was actually wondering if this would make your list or not.
it
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 is fairly
almost did.
good. It's fairly good, but I know that you learned a bunch of big heavy hitters too. So
Big heavy euro, big crunchy euros. And at one point, it was like last month, you're like, you really don't like euros. I was like, yeah, I do. Let's play them, and I'll show you.
let's play
And
them. Well,
and
it's
there's a
like
lot of
I've been
times,
playing Carnegie nonstop, and you're like,
yes,
you're playing Carnegie again. I'm like, yeah.
I'm gonna go stream.
I'm at 20 plays of Carnegie at this time.
Holy mackerel.
It's a lot.
Um, so, but yeah, I'm finally starting to play those games that you have already played, and some of yours that are higher up, I have not played. So again, I'm going to be playing catch up mode
Well, I
yet
think that
again.
also brings a good point to like the community challenges, the versus week. That will get you to play a bunch of new stuff. I think if people
Mhm.
actually vote for the older titles and want to see some of the older stuff. So we'll see. We'll see.
I agree completely. So yeah, um, Beyond Baker Street by Z-Man,
Yeah,
and plays
you
two to
can
four
get that
players.
really cheap, by the way, on the
Yeah,
geek market.
2016. It's on Amazon for 14.46 if
Exactly,
this
and
is
then like
correct.
on the geek market, it's like $5 copies selling. I'm like, okay, might as well just keep it. I,
Yeah. So a lot of times when we decide whether we're going to keep games or not, it all depends on what you can get for it. Like I was talking to my friend
Everything
Thomas.
has a price tag.
Everything has a price tag. So I was talking to my friend Thomas, and he said, "So, I've sort of tried to whittle down my collection the last little while, and I've got games that I haven't played for like 12 years, and now it's like somebody's Grail game because it's no longer available. And they're like, I'll give you $120 for this, and I'm like, sure, at least you're gonna get benefit out of having that game. I'm gonna have benefit for the $120, and both sides win in the situation. And I think that's why I love buying and selling board games. Love it. So, but what we do is we'll look at the prices on the Geek, and we'll be like, oh, people have it listed for $8. We might Is this worth $8 to me? And I think the answer for Beyond Baker Street, absolutely yes.
Oh yeah.
There's no reason to sell this game for $8 or less. So, um, now, should you pick it up for $8? Yeah, absolutely. I think it's worth it. Or brand new on Amazon for
Some games I'd be
$14 shipped.
like, no. Just sell it for the dollar it's
Well,
worth.
that's the thing. That's the thing. There might be a fairly solid game that is selling for 60, 70, $80. And I'm like, with what we have in the collection, is this worth $60 or not? So you sort of have to make that judgment call and just weigh this out. I would keep a lesser game that you could only get $5 for, where I might not keep a better game that I could sell for 80. So everything has a price. You
Yep.
got to weigh that out. So
Yep.
yep. All right.
Number
Beyond
7.
Baker. Number 7. My number is this my number? This is my number 7. My number 7 is Deep State New World Order.
Ooh.
New World Order. Oh yeah, this is you got a little bit of worker placement, a little bit of pushing yourself along certain tracks, a little bit of sort of the worker placement is so you can card draft basically, so you can then do set collections so you can get points. So I know you were really put off by the theme originally, but then you heard Matt had a great time playing it because Matt won it from your stream.
Yeah, so I was really happy to
And
hear that.
yeah, and so you decided to give it a try, and I think you were relatively impressed with this.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it might be on my list later on, but for
it might.
for the most part, it's kind of like a medium to heavy set collection game.
Yes, I would
So
totally agree with that.
it's not like easy because there's some crunchy choices that you're making here, and there's a lot
Some
of
really
different.
crunchy choices.
Yeah, and there's some like interactions that are happening that you kind of need to plan and focus on, and you know, you know, want to block you from doing what you want. So there's like a whole bunch of different things that are kind of going on here, and so I think we only played the base game. Now there's a couple expansions added in the box, and then we also have the expansion box as well. So I think with all of that content, there's like really endless possibilities
That's a
because
lot.
there's a
Yeah,
lot of different things to explore here, and I'm we'll probably play that on the stream relatively soon.
I think so. Well, there was a we unboxed everything from the expansion to fit it all in there, and I saw. Okay, so there are four different organizations that will give you extra abilities, but every organization that you send one of your agents to, that's one fewer agent that you've got for your pool. So you're trying to advance up these tracks, and if you get to the end of the tracks, it's going to be worth points. Otherwise, it's just going to be worth a few abilities.
Hey,
But
the
you can't.
abilities are great too, though.
They are great abilities, and abilities that let you do a lot of good things. For example, there's one. Normally, you've got a lineup of 8 cards, and you can send workers to any of the first 3 cards. Well, if you send one of your agents to the spyware track, then you can go 4 or 5 or 6 cards deep into that line, whereas Steph is still stuck, on the first 3. So Steph got a card that let all of her, anytime she sent something to the 3rd card on the line, it would be worth 2 extra agents. So I'm like, I've got to find a way to stop her from getting it before those even hit that number 3 position. So I would send agents to the number 4 position because I had spyware. But here's the catch. If you send them to every single one of the tracks, you have very few agents that you can have at your disposal. And that's risky. So, and we found that out later on in the game. We're like, we need agents, and we had gone to
Well,
like 3 of the tracks,
that's why
and
I had to go onto a track to get the ghost agents because I needed the
yes,
ghost agents to help out with the other things I was trying to do. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to be on 3 of these different like tracks, but I gotta
well,
do it.
now that I'm talking about it, I might have put this on number 6 had I really thought really hard about this. I might
I
have.
thought you liked it more than a 7 position, but
I
it's still
played a
on your
lot
list.
of I played a lot of deep crunchy hero games.
That's true. That's true.
Uh, Definitely worth checking out. I believe if the Geeks ad is correct, it's 32 on Miniature Market.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
available in the U.S. So
it's in the Geek Game Shop for 40. So
okay.
if you're already getting stuff from the Geek Game Shop, you might drop that into your
Yeah,
order.
it's good. It's good. I like it.
I don't see it on Amazon anywhere. There's only 6 copies in the Geek Market, and only 2 from the U.S., both at 60 and 65. They might come with extras,
I know.
like some of the
Oh,
expansion
that
stuff.
could be. Yeah.
Um, Also, I know the Geek Game Shop sometimes includes the promos and the mini expansions along with things. So I don't know what you get from the Geek Game Market with this, but anyway, worth picking up,
Yeah, I like it.
and that might show up in your list.
Probably. My number 7 probably didn't make your list, but
Did not make my list,
it's
but
called
it's not bad.
Showdown Tactics.
Well, it's sort of called Showdown Tactics. In BGG, it's called Showdown
In
Tactics.
BGG, it's called Showdown Tactics.
In the characters, it's like 9 dragon something or
In the characters, meaning what? The Chinese
yes,
characters.
yes. So it's got, yeah, this is really interesting with a little electronic gizmo.
I know. There's more to it than meets the eye.
Yes,
Because at first I'm like, oh gosh, we gotta put batteries in this like thing, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be such a gimmick.
just a gimmick. Nah, and
It's
it's not
just
just a gimmick.
it's not. So we do need the automated like box because it needs to evaluate both of the tiles that we're dueling at the moment. So we're basically trying to win a battle of these tiles. And so if my number's higher than your number, I win.
Tiles from 1 to 9.
1 to 9. And so we know some things. So this is like a light deduction game. We know some things. If you have a black one down, it's an even number. If you have a white one down, it's an odd number. And the 1 beats the 9. So you're trying to like deduct what you. So if I play a 3,
Normally the higher one wins.
Normally the higher one wins, except the 1 beats the 9. So if I play a 3 and you play a 1, I know you've played an odd number, and if I win, okay, I know you've played the 1, so that automatically like okay, I have to remember he's played the 1. What's my next move now? Okay, maybe a 4 black, and then you might play a black. You might play a white, and then you play, and then I win that if you played the 3, and then I'm like okay, so now I win that one. I know he's played the 3, the 1 and the 3 now. And so I'm trying to figure out what his tiles
4 versus 2 is really dangerous because there's only 4 even tiles, 2, 4, 6, 8.
Right.
You play the 4, and win. I played the 2. You play the 6 and lose. I've definitely played the 8. Now your 8 is the black tile boss. So you get a lot of good information from that.
Yeah, and so you're trying to just figure out what the tiles are so you can win the overall battle and take home the win. And the little box machine tells you, it lights up who wins, or if it's a tie, then you're like, okay. Shrey commented, this was a surprising game. I liked it. So that's... Yep. It is a surprising game, and I liked it too, and so that is a definite keeper for me.
I mean, it's got to be something special for it to hit number 7 of all of the new games you played last month.
There's a lot. Do you even know how many new games you played?
No, I don't. Because I've played some of them before. I've got to start. I got to
actually write it down. Yeah. So I really really like this one. And
yep, it was.
I'm happy to play this one anytime. It worked fairly well on the stream too, because people in the chat could play with us, and I could try and play against people.
Yep.
So that was fun.
So yep, that was your number 7, Showdown Tactics, by Korea Board Games.
Yes.
From 2020.
Yes.
Might be a little hard to find.
It's probably hard to find because it got imported here, I guess.
So, but definitely worth keeping your eyes open for.
But the thing is, if I bring enough attention to it and people want to play it more, then maybe it will get picked up by a publisher. You never know.
Yeah.
Or maybe
you mean a U.S. publisher?
A U.S. publisher, yeah.
Because it's still, I mean, it's already Korea Board Games.
So. Well, right. I mean, like a distributor in the U.S. essentially.
Yes, absolutely. So, my number 6 that you have already played, so it will not make your list, but I believe it didn't make your list last month, is Castles of Tuscany.
Oh, okay. Nice. That was this month?
That, for me, it was this month.
I don't remember.
It was at least I think it was, because we've played it. I've only played it twice, and both of them show up on my board game stats. Well, here's the thing. I started using board game stats January 1st.
That's right.
So, and I was like, really? That was January?
Yeah,
that it was early January.
We played it for Feld Night, which was January.
We did.
That's right.
Yep. And so the day before, we played it off stream, so we could play it on stream on Feld Night. So those are the 2 times I've played it.
So long ago.
So yeah, this is like a lighter version of Castles of Burgundy, I think. I don't think it would be fair to. I mean, it's not exactly a lighter version. It's not just a card. It's not Castles of Burgundy, the card game, because that already really exists. I don't think it's as light as that, but it's definitely lighter than Castles of Burgundy. You've got a very abstract hex kingdom that you've got set up, and you're trying to position your little tiles on it and trying to connect the things together. Much smaller than Burgundy, so probably a lot faster as well. So is there room for both Tuscany and Burgundy in your collection? I think so, because I think that they are different enough. A lot of people prefer Burgundy and the the la- it's Burgundy is less random than Tuscany. A lot of people complain that with Tuscany, certain tiles may not come out very often, if at all, and Burgundy has a much more regular distribution of those tiles that come out. So, like with Burgundy, you've always got a boat on what is it, 1 and 4, and you've always got mines on 2 and 5, and you've always got a castle on 2, and but these tiles will come out much more randomly. So, and once my tiles run out or your tiles run out, we're in phase 2. Once those tiles run out, we're in phase 3. Then the game ends at the end of phase 3. And so
Yep.
you might not ever get the tiles you want. Even though we both have the same tiles, all of your animal tiles or knowledge tiles may be at the bottom of your stack 3 that we never get to. So I think that might knock this down a step on some people's lists, but I enjoy it. The rules need a little work. There's a little bit of translation and design issues. I know a lot of times um, Aaliyah has been dinged for not having consistency between the German and the English rules. And sometimes it's because of translation issues. Sometimes it's because they just leave out a word and it totally changes the meaning, the English language meaning of something. So, um, but I think that it is very playable and very fun. So,
Yeah,
looks like it's on
I like
Amazon.
it. I think I liked it more with second and third play. My
Yeah,
first play was I liked it better with 2 players, I think. So, I do think it is different enough, and I've seen people comment where it is different to keep it, and it's easier to get played because it's so easy, especially with new players. Burgundy is a lot to take in if
yeah,
you're a new player. Like this, it's not an entry level game. I wouldn't say it is because there's just too much to remember, too many things going on. With Castle of Tuscany, it's much easier to digest. So
yeah. And Tuscany is easier to set up because unless you've got the geek bags for Burgundy, which I'd highly recommend for Burgundy, which means all of the black tiles are in one bag, all of the castle tiles are in one bag, all your ships are in one bag. So it it makes it really easy to set up. Um, but yeah, I think it's. Did you play it with 4 players? What was your
I
other
played it with
player count?
3, and then with you with two.
Yep,
So
2 and 2. It's freely available on Amazon for what 42-ish or so. I see a copy in the Geek Market for 30, another one for 40, another one for 75. What in the world do they have in that box? So
gold.
gold. But yeah, it's a 2020 game by Aaliyah, and I finally got a chance to play it. I know that it might be old news by now, but not to
No,
not to a lot of people. I mean, it's
no, it's
still
not old news.
very new. So yeah,
Yeah, it's good. What are we on 6?
we're on your 6.
Okay, we kind of talked about it already, but Kohaku, I think is really great.
Yep,
It's a really great new tile placement filler game. I think it will work really well as a filler because all you gotta do is shuffle up the tiles and go. I mean, it's like so fast,
yep.
and you just collect the different sets and score for the features and the koi that you collect, and I don't. It's really a nice game. So
Game time says 30 to 45 minutes. It
I think
probably
it's
is at
fast.
that.
Yeah, I think it's faster. I mean, if we were to pull it out right now, Michael, I think we could play it faster than 30
I think we
minutes.
probably play it slightly faster than 30. I think you're right. It might slow down with 4 players. I don't
I
know.
agree. It's probably
Um,
going to be a little bit slow with 4 just because.
but community says it's best with 2, but there's only one vote at all.
There's only
I mean,
one vote.
there's only one vote. There's only 48 ratings for this game, and I
It's just
I
new.
think it.
I don't even know if it's out yet. I got a pre-production
Oh
copy,
yeah,
so
pre-order
I
37.99 on
don't think it's
Miniature Market.
out yet.
It may not be. However, there are 2 copies on the Geek Market.
Hmm.
New and Shrink Kickstarter edition with
Maybe the
acrylic tiles.
maybe the Kickstarter was delivered and now it's going to retail soon.
This is a brand new sealed copy, latest edition. So yeah, for 46 and for $49. So it does exist out there in the wild
Hmm.
slightly. The Geek Game Shop is offering it for 50. Pre-order expected release February 10th. How about that? 5 days from now.
So really soon. Yeah.
Really soon.
So I think that will be a pretty big hit with people.
Oh, I think it will because I think there's a lot of good interconnected stuff going on with those tiles. So I really
Yeah.
like that.
And it's easy. It's so easy. It's like a one sentence learning situation. And you
Yeah,
get like
just
your
like
handy dandy player aid to tell you what everything scores for. It's just all very nice. So,
yeah, yeah. They did that right, I think, to where you don't have to question. Oh, hey, what does this scoring feature do? What does this mean? Blah blah
yeah.
blah. You're just trying to show off your park shirt. I see what you're
Oh,
doing.
I got my park shirt. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
nice.
I've got my geek shirt on.
Yeah. No,
My
I just
geek showing her at
now
the
I'm
air.
like sitting back slouching, so I'm like I got to like rearrange. Just
There
hanging
we go.
out.
There we go.
Chillax.
I'm ready.
Oh my god. No.
No, my VR area back there. Hopefully it'll
All
refocus.
right, what's your number 5? Number
My number
5.
my number 5 is Gugong.
Gugong.
I didn't even put the tones in there on the cut and paste. So
Gugong.
yeah, we played this on the stream, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did play this on. Yeah, we played this
We
on the
got a
stream.
thumbs down.
We got a thumbs down on our video. That's right. Wonder why we got a thumbs
Sad.
down.
I don't
Um,
know.
so despite having a final turn where I really didn't, it seemed like all of my turns were wasted. I did not have that same feeling the first time I played. So I'm gonna just chalk it up to, okay, this was with the expansions that we played with, and maybe it's not gonna happen um, with either the base game or with other things. I really like what this game is doing, so I wasn't going to leave it off my list. And again, there's a lot of these heavy Euro games like Gugong where um, they're all clustered up here at the top of my rankings. And so a lot of these can be interchanged, and you know they were all really close in my rankings. This one might have been a little higher if I'd had a better experience with the last time we played. But just because I look frustrated during a Euro play on the stream doesn't mean I hate the game at all. Like, I look like I hated High Frontier, and I really liked it a lot. I think it was my third highest game that month.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so just because I'm scratching my head, it's because a lot of times I'll look frustrated because I don't know what the best move is, or I'm frustrated with some of the decisions that I made, not with whether I like the game or not. So I can be frustrated with myself and still love the game. So you've seen it with people who love bowling, who they can't seem to find the right groove, but they love to bowl, right? I mean, so don't treat frustration as an indicator of whether I like a game or not, because it's usually not it. So yeah, this one ranks really highly with me.
That's good. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yep.
I don't know where it falls on my list. I played it for the first time back in 2018 at BGG
Yep.
Con. So
That's when it came out.
yeah, it's been a while since then.
Yeah.
But I
It
mean,
was by
I like what the expansion's doing for the most part.
I do too, and I don't want to just give up on the expansions either. I just it might have just been my specific play, where
Yeah,
everything I was doing was just getting killed. That's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
yeah,
So I know that you got a comment on the video when you mentioned the thumb down. It just made me think about that play. Somebody else commented that they also had that issue. So just be advised that sometimes you're going to get a playthrough where the cards don't fall correctly in your hands. So that can happen.
Yeah, that's
Let me
cool.
kill my.
That's
I'm
fine.
going to turn off my video and see if
What do you do?
I'm trying to get it to refocus.
Seems okay. No,
It's a little blurry, but it's fine.
it's fine.
Anyway, that's by Crowd Games and Game Brewer. So I remember Tasty Minstrel had it at one point in time. Do they don't have it any longer? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's interesting that
Um,
Crowd Games is though.
yeah, well, it's on the list of publishers.
Okay.
The last two
Maybe
are
in
Game
Russia.
Brewer and Crowd Games. Oh, it might be in Russia there. So here it might be Game Brewer and or Tasty Minstrel.
I mean, definitely Taste Your Minstrel. I don't know. That's that's the edition I have, but I
You have the
again I don't know if that you know license agreement is up or whatever. I don't know.
looking at the one on Amazon. This is weird. It's $44 on Amazon. It says brand Tasty Minstrel Games. The image is Game Brewer.
I don't know.
So that's odd. It's either one, but the important thing is it is available from Amazon. And there, like I said, there are copies on the Geek Market. There's two of them for 30. So if you like big crunchy euros, you can get it into your hands for 30 plus shipping.
I like the card
Or
mechanic in this game. It's nice.
yeah, the card mechanic is really interesting. Where you've got, if you don't have anything that, then I think that this is what killed me is that if your card is equal to or lower than, you have to have workers. But if you don't have any workers, then there's not much you can do. And I think I got caught in that trap. You've really got to make sure you don't get caught in that trap. If you have more than, it's no problem. If you have less than, you just basically lose your card. So
All of that.
all of that.
All right. Well,
All
moving
of that.
right along. My number 5, right?
Hey, we know this one. Yeah.
It is Deep State New Order.
New World Order.
New World Orders. I don't know. Like Deep State.
No,
We
no,
talked
no, no.
about it. It was already on
We
your
did.
list.
It was.
I think there's a lot of interesting choices here, and like I said, with the expansion, I think I'll even like it a little bit more, because there's going to be a lot of change up in how you do things and what you go for and the choices that you have. Now, I do
Well,
think it could be better with more people, just because you won't get supervised as much, which is a mechanic that passes from player to player around
oh
the
yeah.
table. And if you have the supervisor watching you, your options are limited, more limited. So
But you get free dudes.
that's true. You do get free dudes.
Yeah. But I
Um,
think I think you're right. I think 3 will be the sweet spot with this.
I do think 3 will be the sweet spot. Yeah.
Yeah, and the community agrees that they say it's best with 3 or 5. I don't know why 4 is missing, but
Well, 5 you get the new mechanics, right? So 5 you get like the some other mechanic that the other pawn. What's that little black dude?
oh yeah, the
I don't remember what his title was.
he has a big chunky
So with
black
with 5
figure.
players, you start getting a new mechanic in there, and so
Well, they
this
give you workers
this guy
like the
is going to
first
be moving
player.
around as well.
Yeah, the first player gets supervised. The fourth player has that
Whatever he is.
special agent. Yes. And I think that gives you one additional agent. And then that rotates around just like the first player. It's always going to be 3 spots ahead.
So maybe with 4 players, you don't have that, and it's too long in between being supervised or whatever. So maybe 3 and 5 because of that mechanic. Though it plays solo. It could be a good solo game.
Now, this is strange. Out of 9 people
Yeah.
who rated the 2-player experience, 3 of them say not recommended. I disagree with that. I mean, I think it works fine with 2 players. It's just that you do end up getting supervised more often, and so you end up you end up alternating taking those actions going up the tracks. I don't think that's a bad thing.
I don't
So
either.
if it can only get better, hey, that's a good thing for me.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, it
and
didn't bother me.
I like that the tracks can change with the expansion. So you're not always going to have the same tracks.
Yeah, agreed.
Yep.
All right, that was my
Uh,
number five.
that's from Crowd Games,
Oh yeah,
and it's available on the Geek Game Shop for $40.
yeah.
Uh, there are 6 copies in the Geek Market, but they're much more expensive than that. So hey, check them out at the Geek Game Shop. Um, my number 4. I am doing a really good job of spoilering all of your games.
All of my
So
games. This is so
I'm
rude. You're so rude.
I've spoiled Deep State. I spoiled Kohaku. I might spoiler more before this day is over. Um, but my number 4 is Seven Bridges. If you like roll and rides and you like crunchiness, you will love Seven Bridges. So
So good.
you've got a map of Königsberg, and there are 7 bridges there. Like you actually showed this map to somebody. Was it Shrey? I think.
I think it was Shrey. Yeah.
And and he said, "Hey, that is indeed Königsberg." So
Yeah.
yeah. So the map was actually drawn by a cartographer, and so
No, it was
it's
drawn by Ron, the designer.
the designer
Yeah,
who is a cartographer.
yeah.
So yeah, um, and I think he does a really good job um, with making the different bonuses and the rolls that you make and everything to actually draw the features on the map in order to go across the bridges and make the combos happen. Um, and you might not get everything you want. Like you'll start to go off one direction and just barely miss it. You're not going to get all of the monuments. If you do, congratulations. You're a better player than I am. You you really tried to get all 7 bridges crossed,
I tried really hard. Every
and try
time. Every
all the
time.
bridges and all the monuments. And I'm not completely certain it's possible because there aren't enough opportunities to get the straight stretches
Well, so that's
that you
that's
need.
just it. Are you lucky with your dice rolling
Are you lucky with the dice?
and you roll the three straights and the two straights that get you extra movement? Well, if you are rolling really well, you'll score very well, I think.
Yep. And if you get a lot of straights, then you're not going to get a lot of edges, and edges give you points with one of the bonuses. Um, Based on the number of bridges that you cross, you're going to get to score that many of your in-game scoring mechanics. Like there are number of trees that you pass, number of buildings that you cross, your number of edges times the number of bridges that you cross. Uh, your bridges, your landmarks, your grid squares, and reaching the edge of the map. 7 different things. If you don't cross a bridge, one of those is gone. You don't cross another bridge, another one of those is gone.
But that might
So
be fine. If you're not focusing
that's
on two of the things, then you maybe cross
exactly.
five. Then, focus on the five things you will be scoring.
But I think that's what really makes this game shine and really makes it crunchy. Do I abandon that and abandon those 2 bridges? Also abandoning whatever landmark is on the other side. Do I go just for buildings? Do I go just for making the right angle turns that I need going over a few of the bridges?
Yeah.
Uh, there is one of these big square landmarks that if you encircle it, you're also going to get 9 trees. Do I actually go for that? Do I go for this long stretch of little 1 square buildings? Because the more buildings you pass by, those are extra points. There's a lot of good crunchy decisions, all with the same map over and over. Now, I think this would really benefit from. I think that you could have an expansion to 7 bridges that has a second or a third or a fourth map, and all you'd need to do is sell the pad of paper. You've already got the dice in Seven Bridges. Um, so I think that all you would need is another pad of paper and sell that and be a really easy to produce expansion for Seven Bridges. So if Ron is listening out there, and I think I've probably already told him that. I think that he's probably already heard it. I think that there's a lot of room to travel on this.
Nice words. Travel. Yeah, I
There are
mean,
more bridges to be crossed here.
he's been so supportive. Like, he really liked what I had to say, and he's been posting my quote all over social media, and he's like so appreciative, and so it's really cool. Like, I hope to bring light to the game. It's a really fantastic game. So he might.
It's got 98 ratings, an average of 8.1.
It's great.
I mean, that's fantastic for a roll and write.
I don't know if Laura's still in the chat, but she needs to play it.
Meeple Grande is currently
Streaming.
Streaming Res Arcana with guest Ryan Griffin.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it the write up on BGG says Seven Bridges stands out because it includes a map of a real world city. No, Seven Bridges stands out from most other roll and writes because the decisions
really
are super crunchy. Based on the number of bonuses that you use, you're going to end up with more extra bonus points. So which bonuses do you use? And you can only use each bonus once. Which one do you do? I mean, it's got a lot of good.
Yeah, from the few plays that we've had, I've already learned to like save some of the ones I will definitely most likely need later on. So.
But you're tempted to use them so you can go after more of those landmarks. Like I used a lot of my extra segments in order to reach more landmarks, which gave me extra bonuses. Well, that was a problem because at the very end of the game, I was half a mark and a straight line short of crossing 2 more bridges.
Yeah.
We scored miserably that game. But they were very different. The 2 games we played are very different.
Yeah.
Normally, a game with one map, with a static map over and over, I would not like so much. The decisions are that good. So I'm really looking forward to more maps.
Yeah, Shrey, we need to play.
You definitely need to play Shrey. You could play that with him while while just being remote. You could just roll the dice and say what there are available to draft.
Yeah, exactly.
You and Shrey could totally play, and you could teach him the rules.
I can. It's very easy.
Yeah.
It's very easy. Now, the thing is the placement of the roads can be a little tricky and very specific. That's why the rules, people are really complaining about the rules because it is so specific on this part. But it's all fairly logical, right? I mean,
it is. But I think you have to play it in order to find out, hey, can I draw from here or not? Yeah. You can't start from so all of the roads will cross not on a line, but in the middle of a square. And if you've got a straight line drawn, you can't start from the middle of that and draw to that midpoint of the next square. You can't do that. You got to draw one straight line that covers exactly one square. That's hard for some people to grasp their head around.
So that's why you have particular.
Well, that's why you have the little nub sections. Put the little nub section in there, and then you can draw out.
Yeah.
So, and now they are officially called nubs because
he liked the term.
He liked the term.
We were calling them nubs.
There's no copies on Amazon. There's no listings in the geek market. I don't know.
I think you get it from the publisher site.
Puzzling Pixel Games.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only reason why there are so few ratings.
Because people don't know. It was a Kickstarter, so.
Well, yeah. As someone who has published a Kickstarter of a game that has only 140 ratings, I think I've got, it's hard. It's really hard to get.
Shrey posted the link. So.
Oh, great.
That's where he got it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I've got 132 ratings on Warehouse. and I'm only picking up.
Maybe Legends will rate it after he plays it.
Oh, I hope so. That'd be really good. I hope he likes it. That's the important part. I
He
hope
was
he
gonna
likes
try and play it this weekend. He kept saying, "I keep shaking the table." Okay, stop. Okay, okay.
it. All right, your number 4 game is something I have not played at all.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
Nope. Nope.
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
My number 4 is Nidavellir. Nidavellir.
And
Nidavellir.
I might have
Prin-
spoiled because
Prince of Bel
I
Air.
Prince of Bel Air. No,
Nidavellir. I don't know how to say it.
Nidavellir. Don't know.
Sure. This is this was a surprise hit for me. Played it on TTS, not available in the States really, I don't think, not yet. I'm hopeful that a publisher will pick it up to distribute in the States cuz I really really like it and I want a copy of it.
Well, there are a lot of different publishers. GRRRE games. What is that?
Yeah.
Grrr.
Great.
Gree?
Great.
BlackRock Games, Evricus, Galacta, Maldito, Mandu, Pegasus Spiel is the only one I really recognize. Studio Supernova, Talama Games, and White Goblin Games. Don't know
So like
hardly
White
any of them.
Goblin Games is the Netherlands. BlackRock is actually a distributor, not a publisher. So they distribute this game, I think.
I'm just telling you what's in the publisher link
Pegasus Spiel is German.
on BGG.
Mandu, that's Korea? No, Taiwanese? I don't know where Mandu is, but maybe I can ask them for a copy.
Mandu is Korea.
Oh, there we go. Stray says Gigamic. I always say it
Oh,
wrong.
nice.
Gigamic?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I've always said it
Should
wrong.
be available March 2021, MSRP $40. Maybe you can get it from them.
Oh yeah, I gotta.
I know you
write to
lost
them.
your main contact there, but I
Yeah,
don't know if you've
Nate.
got any other ones.
It's been a
Yeah,
while
Nate was
since I had any
there.
contact there, so I'll have to
He
check in
wasn't
on
there. He
that.
hasn't been there for a couple of years.
It's been a long time, so yeah, yeah. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's interesting that they pick it up. It doesn't really feel like their kind of game. But anyway, so the game. Let me tell you about the game.
You are searching through taverns.
Is that what I'm doing?
Nidavellir, the dwarf kingdom, is threatened by the dragon Fafnir. So you have been appointed by
that
the
there are
king
dwarves.
to search through every tavern, hire the most skillful dwarves,
Hmm.
recruit the most prestigious heroes, and build the best battalion you can to defeat your mortal enemy, which I assume is that dragon Fafnir.
Did we fight a dragon in this game?
You are bad with theme. I tell you what.
I judge a game based on the mechanics, and I like the mechanics here. So, okay.
It's obviously good because you rated it number 4.
No, it's really good. I'm like, oh, okay, it's just gonna be like a set collection game, whatever. There's like 5 different types of cards, and you're trying to build up the cards. Like the more green cards you get, the more points you'll get for the green. The more purple cards you get, the more purple points you'll get. And then like the red is like every individual red card will get you points. The blue will be every individual blue will get you points. And then the orange is like no points, but you might get little like axe points or something. So like every axe point will be like 1 point per orange type of card that you have. So if you get a bunch of axe points and you have like a bunch of orange cards, you'll get a lot of points. So so there's different types of set collection for these different 5 things. But the real interesting part about this game and what I really, really, really like is how you get these cards. So we all have 5 tokens at the start of the game. And throughout the whole game, you'll have 5 tokens. And 3 of these tokens will be used to bid on these. There's like set 1, set 2, set 3. And so everybody's bidding on set 1, set 2, set 3. Whoever has the highest bid for set 1 will get first pick of cards. Whoever is second highest will get second pick of cards, third pick, etc. Everybody will get a card for each of these sets. And so you're placing your tokens down, hopefully collecting the card you want from the set, but also if you don't care about a card, you might put your 0 down. And why this is important is because if you put your 0 token down, the leftover tokens that you didn't use for the round, you have 2 left over, those will combine to form a new number, and then you'll upgrade the higher one to be that new number. So if you have a 4 and 5 left over, and you use your 0 in one of the bidding sets, you take the 5, and the 4, add them together, get 9. Take the 9 token, replace your 5 token with the 9 token. So now you have a 9 token. So you're upgrading your tokens throughout the whole game whenever you play a 0. And then so there's also like another sort of set collection. Like if you get one of each type of card, you'll get a bonus. And so like there's other cool bonus cards that you can get to really help your strategy out. And then there's like a mid game scoring thing that happens for whoever has the most of each faction. You'll get a cool benefit, like your 0 turns into a 3 for the rest of the game. So now your 0 is a 3, and you still get to do the combined bonus action each time. And I think there's only like, I think there's like 3 rounds of 3, so you're gonna get like 18 cards in this game. So you're trying to do whatever you can to like boost your score.
I think the coloration and the number font looks looks. I mean, it looks very much like Hadara's numbers. Looking at
Oh, it does. Yeah, it has the same kind of like
the
Nordic kind of like
Nordic
looking
font.
numbers. Yeah, it does
Yeah.
have that. Yeah, the font. Yeah.
Yeah, Nordic was
So
the word I was trying to come up with and totally failing at. So yeah, just looking at all of the beautiful components. Looks
I
really
mean,
good.
it's really interesting. I like that you're upgrading your tokens, and so all your tokens I think will be worth points at the end, or like your highest token will be worth points. So if you can get your highest value, like so, but keeping in mind, like if you wanted to upgrade your 21 and 4 to be a 25 token, you're not using the 21 token the round that you know it's got to be in the like leftover zone. So you want to use your high numbers, but knowing when to like not care about what offerings are out there is important too. So it's really interesting. I really like this, and it's a set collection game. So I mean, it's not anything that you haven't seen before, but it's how you get those cards to be in your
Right.
set is what's interesting.
And I don't think that this is it's not easily findable. There are 9 copies in the geek market, none in the states. So
Well, if
you
it
just
is
have to
gonna
wait
be
for
Gigamic or
Gigamic.
Gig Gymic, I don't know.
Gigamic.
Gigamic.
I don't
I don't know how to say it. I feel really bad because I screwed it up once before when I was
and now
hosting
you can't
them.
remember.
I was hosting them on the BGG live stream at Gen Con, and I screwed it up like 5 times, and I still don't know it. But I'm very excited for this game, so I'm glad it will be available because I really like it. So hopefully it will show up on the stream at some point because it's nice. It's a nice game.
All right, so
Number 3.
my number 3 is Darwin's Journey.
Oh,
Why? What's the matter?
it might be on my list.
It might be on your list.
Come on, Michael.
We should have done it in a different order because if we had done these backwards, right?
If I started
Like
with my number 1, you start with your
you
number 10.
no, if you start with your number, like if we had done yours then mine then yours then mine, then my number 4 would have been Seven Bridges, and
Oh.
it would have lined up with
Oh.
your number 3,
Yeah, that's fair.
which would have been right next to.
I
I
got
should have
you.
thought about that,
You should have
but
thought about that. I
I
blame
didn't.
you.
So, Darwin's Journey.
Yeah.
In Darwin's Journey, you've got again nice crunchy euro. Um, you've got a knowledge track. You've got a boat track. You've got 3 separate explorer tracks. You're busy collecting tiles that you found, the little animals you found on the island, and selling them to museums. And based on whether you put the animal tiles in the museum early, you'll get more coins. Late, you'll get more knowledge. And trying to boost these things up. But in order to do any of that, you've got to basically make your workers smarter by giving them more skills. And you'll go to the diploma action and you'll build those workers up. A worker cannot even go to an action unless it has those types of little knowledge, the little color tokens, the seals, I think they're called.
Yep.
If you don't have the right color seals, your worker can't even go there. So
You could have
if
temporary seals that you could
you
spend in
can,
its place, but yeah, you're gonna need specific seals to go to different locations.
but if you want to sail, then you've got to have the little blue seals. If you don't have any blue seals, you're probably not going to sail. Hey, this was me, my second game, because neither of us had blue, and you found a way to make it work and push yourself all the way to the end of the track. So there are ways to do it. You can end up fishing for those blue things. Um, if you manage to get all of the seals for a character card that you have, you can play that character card, meaning, hey, that character is actually that worker that you were trying to create. And then you'll get some sort of special bonus. A lot of different interacting mechanics there in order to collect victory points. If you're basically chasing Darwin's boat. If you lag far behind Darwin's boat, then you will end up taking a penalty. Every every era, you're going to score a different sort of bonus mechanic. But if you're farther back, you're going to lose 1 or 2 or 4 or 5 or 10 points. Uh, that's not a place you want to be, and that was a place I was during the game. I tried to mitigate a lot of that with different bonuses that came up, and I think there's just a lot going on here.
It's a
Um,
lot. It's really good.
it's a lot.
And
So
yeah, somebody once asked me, I think on one of the streams, like, where do I rate this for meanness? And it's not that mean because there's always like something else you can try and do. Like, I don't feel like I locked you out of anything, even though you are
yes,
locking out of locations,
yes.
but it's like, it's not like actively mean.
No, I don't think it's actively mean, but I do think that there is See, I think don't confuse player interaction with cutthroat. There is a lot of player interaction to where if you get to an animal first, you could sell that animal to the museum first. If you get to a campsite first, you can place the cheaper campsite, and or if you sit on that space, you will lock me out of that space
Yeah,
entirely.
I've been in that position where I wanted to go somewhere and they wouldn't move. I'm like, come on, they just wouldn't
Come
move.
on, move
They
your
don't.
token.
They've moved on past into a new island and they're just sitting in the other spot, just sitting there.
But they can't stop you from moving on the island. In fact, let's say you go 3, you go 1, skip over them 2, 3. So you'll actually go 4 spaces down the
That's
track.
true. That's true.
So they can't stop you from advancing. They can stop you from a space.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
but now that's I never found myself not having anything to do,
No,
and
there's always something to do.
I have had that happen on Gugong and Pingyao, um, which it sometimes you wish that you had the in a lot of these worker placement games there is a I've got nothing better to do, give me this pity action. Darwin's Journey has that. Gugong and Pingyao do not have that. There is no discard a card and get 2 workers.
Yeah.
There is none of that. So
Mm-mm.
there
There
are
there
times
is
when
in Darwin's Journey, like you could take first
there
player,
is.
get a couple bucks. You could take a contract, get a couple bucks. So there's always something to do.
Yep.
So I
So
really
that's
like it. You might be seeing it in a second.
yep. So 2021 from Thundergriff Games and Korea Board Games. But I
Nice.
think Thundergriff is where it's being distributed
Yep,
in
it's
the United
late
States.
pledges right now on Kickstarter. Late
Oh,
pledges.
really? Yeah, jump on that.
It
If you
did
like
very well on Kickstarter, so
Yeah, if you like Crunchy Euros, I think what is 700,000? Let me look. Darwin's Journey Kickstarter. Looks like 46 stretch goals unlocked.
wow.
16,000 backers pledged 1.1 million euros.
A lot. It did very well, like I said.
1.1 million. And at an exchange rate, I think it's not too far off of for 1 to 1 euro USD. Oh, 1 euro is $1.20
Okay.
US. So a million euro is, we're talking 1.2 million. So they got what, 1.3 ish, 1.3 or so $1 million
It's a lot.
US dollars. Yeah, that's a
It's really
lot.
good.
Um,
I do think it's
it,
worth it though. Like I mean,
it's
it's
45 euro for the base game, plus shipping, and the shipping's going to be collected after the campaign. Definitely worth looking into late pledging on that.
yeah, especially for all the extra stuff.
Yep.
Cool.
Door number 3. Like I say, we should have flip flopped these
We should have. We
because
should have. It is Seven Bridges.
ta-da.
Ta-da! So good.
Hey,
And
you've already
like
talked
I
about
feel
it.
like it could have been the game of the month for like another month. Like
On any of the, like Darwin's Journey, Seven Bridges,
so good
Gugong, these all could have been games of the month on other months.
on other months. So
But
it's like
I
really
have
good.
got 2 other games
I
that
know.
even beat these.
And I have two other games that beat Seven
Yeah.
Bridges. So I really, really love this. I mean, it's a really great roll and write. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's definitely in my top 5 favorites, I think. I mean, I really think it's a great game. I love drafting in general. So drafting dice is always interesting. I definitely want to play with more people to see what happens, like with this drafting and the how it all pans out.
Well, with a lot of roll and writes, you've got an active player, and then everyone else can take whatever trash is left. Seven Bridges is not like that. You are drafting a die.
And you're drafting all the dice.
Yeah, so it's like you might get first choice, but I'm not left with complete trash.
It's hard. It's
So,
good. It's really
the,
good.
so it's
Juicy
not just,
decisions and just
yeah,
it's fun.
but a lot of roll and writes. It's like, yo, only the active player gets the good stuff. You get whatever's left that they didn't take. That's not this.
Cool.
So, yeah,
We already talked our ears off about Seven Bridges, so we can keep going.
yeah, we can keep going. How about my number 2,
What do you got?
Viscount of the West Kingdom?
Oh, Viscount of the West Kingdom. Nice.
And you've already played it, so it's not on your list. But I just played it,
That's right.
so yeah, by Garfield Games, and Shem decided to show up
That was
uh,
awesome.
on our stream, and Shem's a great guy, and yeah, it was like um, the game is just fantastic, and again, on many other months, this would have been my top rated game, and in fact, I had a really hard time trying to decide 1 versus 2 versus 3, whether I was going to put Darwin's Journey or Viscounts or something to be determined in a minute. I don't know if you remember
I'm
what
trying
it
to
would be.
remember.
I don't think you'll remember.
Well,
I think you've forgotten.
I think I know it. I think it's
You
up there.
think
I think it's
you
on the
think
top
you
of
know it.
the shelf.
You,
If we played it this month, I think we did.
we have I played it this month. Yes.
Derek knows. I think I
Derek knows.
know. Anyway, Viscount
Yeah.
was great. I actually played it last night again,
What?
for a fourth play, and yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting choices. I do think I like it better with 2 players.
Are there somebody upgraded the meeples? They've got stickers on it.
Oh, I
From
don't know.
Meeple Source. They cost more than the game, but worth it. Meeple
Ah!
Source has a game upgrade kit for Viscounts.
Oh, wow.
Oh my! Oh wait! I've got to actually find it here. Hold on. How do I character? Is it game upgrade kit for Architects of the West Kingdom and Age of Artisans? No. Where's Viscounts? Age of Artisans expansion.
Derek
Where?
says you can get upgrades for all the West Kingdom stuff. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
but I'm looking specifically for this so I can like give you a link, but I'm not finding it because they don't. Hold on, there it is. Viscounts new. Oh, it's for. It says it's for. That's Paladins. There, 80-piece set of worker meeples for Viscount.
Wow. That's a lot.
$85.
What? Hot damn.
But look at them.
Are they really cute?
Yeah, look at the little dudes. They're
85
so
bucks?
cute.
85
They're
bucks.
so cute. If you want the same set to cover you for Viscounts and Architects, you will want the $137 set. Architects full set.
I gotta get that. The
137.
little emote.
Yeah.
Trey's like, haha,
um,
pass.
pass.
That's a lot. You can get
Wow.
like, yeah, there you go.
Derek, it's so funny.
Because
So,
why not have 2 to 3 other games? That's my thought, Scott. Dang. Dang, that's expensive. But
dang. Well, I mean,
hey,
we
if
do
people are
have.
buying them, that's awesome. I'm a big fan of Maple Source, and like I love Cynthia. I think she's great. So, I
I'm a
want.
big fan of upgrading games. So, yeah.
I'm generally not as much. Like yeah, it's awesome to have upgraded stuff, but not at the expense of like that
Yeah.
cost.
Agreed. I mean, that does seem a little much, but so in
Having
Viscounts,
Le Havre bits, that's worth it. That's like 60 or something. That's like those are awesome.
so you say one thing, but you do another.
I know.
And
I also know a guy.
the burgundy bags. I mean, yeah, you do know a guy. So yeah,
All
maybe
right, tell us
one of
about Viscount. Why do you
tell us
like
about
it?
Vic. Why do I like it? So okay, you've got several different things you can do. You can do merchant actions. You can do building actions. You can do scribing. What is it? Manuscript writing, and you can help build the castle. Um, all of these. So two of these are done on the outside track. Two of these are done on the inside track. Based on the card that you play into your tableau, you're going to have cards that enter your tableau, cards that leave your tableau. And the number of icons on the cards in your tableau is what you can do for free. You can also do more things if you put coins, and if you can buy other workers to use, and those workers will have abilities. So there's always something to do, and you're trying to decide, hey, is this the time I should spend in coins to move an extra space? Is this something that I want to do knowing I am going? It's sort of like a rondelle mechanic, how you always have to go one direction on the board. You can go to the inside track and then bounce back out to the outside track, but you're always going to be going one direction. So I'm like, hey, I'm approaching these areas with the ink. I do need to pick up this manuscript down here, but I don't have any manuscript dudes in my hand. Should I get some ink to sort of add to that? And there's a little bit of a set collection mechanic with the manuscripts and some worker addition mechanics that work with the castle, because you're trying to get the castle guys up to the middle. The more dudes you put on the castle, the more chance you're going to get bonuses, and then bonuses chain off of other bonuses because little guys move around the castle. Um, the buildings will give you bonuses. If you put buildings next to someone else's buildings, both of those building owners get bonuses. So there's just so much going on and so much interconnecting. It's very elegant. You love rondelles, you love worker placement, you love card drafting. If you love card tableau mechanics that give you immediate effects and drop-off effects, things like that, you're going to love Viscounts. It almost made my top, and I could probably interchange this with my top pick, and I'd be happy. So, yeah.
Yay! Yeah, like
And you've played it before, so yeah.
I think I learned at the end of last year at some point, maybe November or something.
Yep.
And yeah, I think it grows on you with more plays. I don't know.
Agreed.
I don't think it will ever pass Paladin's level. I'd like Paladins more, in general. Just I think the biggest thing for me is that I like having a set number of rounds. I don't like the abrupt ending that it could possibly have for Viscount.
I might like this better than Paladins.
Okay.
I probably need to play Paladins more to see, but I think I like this better than Paladins. 2.4 thousand, so 2,400 ratings, 8.2 average. That's fantastic.
It's really
Currently
good.
rated rank 324, but I think it probably will go even higher once more people play Viscounts. Hey, kids
Nice.
splaining.
Hey, kids. Blaming?
Um, Viscounts is available. Let's see. Renegade Game Studios has it on Amazon for 42.
Okay.
I see a copy in the Geek Market for 30 though, plus shipping. But hey, if you can pick it up off of Amazon for 42, that's really good. I believe it's in the Geek Game Shop as well. If you're going to pick stuff up from the Geek Game Shop, you might as well just throw it in your cart and support the site. So yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
My number 2 is very similar to Michael's number 3, called
For reasons.
Darwin's Journey.
Wasn't on purpose.
It's so good. We talked about it a lot already, but just like the plethora of options and directions. I love that you're building up your person to try and get different skills. I think that's very clever. It's a very clever use of like almost like a role playing game where you're like gaining better stats as you go. But there's not anything like that because it's a very Euro game. I mean, there's no like character building or anything, but you are, but you're not.
You're
Like,
trying you're
yeah.
trying to give those abilities to your workers, which could coincide with the cards you have in your hand,
Yeah.
which are characters.
Yeah,
So
I mean, but it's like you're not necessarily focused on that. You get a
right.
small reward if you can play these characters. So, it's great if you can get it, but it's not like I need to do that in order to win
Yeah.
the game.
Matter of fact,
you don't.
you don't have to. Yeah,
Right.
you don't.
You don't
If you
have
need
to.
somebody with blue, then you should focus on blue. You shouldn't just focus on those character cards just because you own those character cards.
Yeah, you want to go with how the game board is set up. What's immediately going to score each round. You're going to try and do those things to score a lot of points in game, so that you'll be well off when it becomes the end of the game and you have the final scoring. And so there's just a lot of like things you're planning for as the game is progressing. So doing everything to help you out during the game, it will help you out in the long run. And I think all that planning and all that jazz is really cool. And I think this
Derek
game is
said,
really good.
yeah. Derek says, knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Yep. That was my number 2. What's your number 1? I think I know.
What is it?
Rococo Coco.
Rococo Coco Deluxe Edition.
Rococo
Type it in here.
Coco.
Rococo. Yeah, Rococo. It's fantastic. And it's been a while since I played it, so I had to think which one do I like more, and I'm not sure I've got it right. I mean, now that I'm chewing on some of these, I'm like maybe I should have put that higher, but Rococo is fantastic in that I love games where you are collecting resources, spending those resources in order to get things that give you upgrades, that give you things towards end-game mechanics. And I think this has all of that. I mean, it's like, okay, how can a game about making dresses and showing them off at a ball, how would a guy like me really like something like that? Trust me, it's got a lot of fantastic mechanisms.
Well, and you like thematic games. This is fairly thematic.
For what it is, for the collecting of the bits in order to make the dresses. Okay, you could probably have made that anything, but it works with this. The dressmaking works with this. We had a lot of fun calling things fluff and yarn or something like that, with the silk and the thread. But you would always call it I got to get my fluff and yarn. But you'll collect those and other thing and enough of those correct colored threads in order to make these dresses. In order to get those, you have to go to the drawers, and if you get the first thing out of a drawer, it's going to cost you 2 coins. If you get the second thing out of the drawer, it's going to be 1 coin. The third thing out of a drawer is going to cost you nothing, but it might be something really good that you can use. And at the moment that you're taking it, you have to choose whether to take it for the thread listed on the tile or the bottom thing, which is usually the fluff and yarn that we were talking about. Um, and sometimes if it's good with one thing, it's going to be bad with the other. So you might be tempted to take it for the fluff and yarn. For the silk, the what was it? I can't even remember now what it is. What it's supposed to be.
No,
Um,
it's thread
and
and
something
lace.
lace. Thank you.
And yeah, fabric is what you're getting from the drawer. The fabric.
Yes, yes. And but it might be something that you really needed. You can collect all those things. Sometimes you don't want to pay a lot to get two of something like two green fabric when you're only going to need one for the thing that's coming up. Um, I love games with market mechanics that work like that. The first thing out is worth a lot. The last thing out is only worth the action that you spend for it. Well, the same holds true with the dress designs. If you take the ones that have been around a long time, you're going to pay very little for it. If you get something that just came out, you're going to end up paying a lot of coins for it. But you might want to snatch that away because you know that, like if I know that you need a red to collect a set of something, then I'm going to snatch that away and maybe make it for myself. Um, it also has a really interesting hand mechanic that you're trying to build the characters, your employees in your hand to be the ones that you really want. Because you're going to have some that are apprentices, some that are journeymen, some that are masters. But if you use all your masters to make designs, then you're not using masters to hire new employees, and vice versa. And if you're not having masters make designs, you're not going to have the prime spots in the ballrooms, including the main ballroom, which can send little guys up to get fireworks, to look at the fireworks show on top of the palace. There's just so many different things going on here. And I love those interlocking, elegant mechanisms. Let's focus me again here. Ta-da.
Ta-da.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's really good. So what was the original year of this? Was it 2012? Because so many
um,
amazing games came out in 2012.
so the deluxe edition came out in 2020. The original came out 2013.
Okay. I knew it
So
was
yeah,
around. I knew it
a
was
lot of
around that
games.
time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean there so I've had it on my shelf since then. I've loved this game for a long time. The deluxe doesn't have any new mechanics or anything, so it's just glamified stuff.
Yep.
And
Glamified bits.
it gives people a chance to get the game, which is also fantastic. So
The lace and thread are not just cubes as they are in the
that
normal
might be a
game.
Kickstarter upgrade though. So I'm not really sure
Oh,
where the line is on basic or not.
I don't know. It says Rococo Deluxe Edition, and the metal coins is the special
Oh,
add-on.
okay. Okay.
So I don't know. I'm not sure. I think I think that the base game does come with a little lace and thread. I'm not certain, but I mean, after all, it's called Rococo Deluxe Edition, so it's going to have the huge board, which I think is your main complaint about it, is that it takes up so much real estate. That said, it does fit on your table.
Yeah, that's true. We managed to get it on the screen, so
You
there's
did
that.
manage. So, yeah, you can still, as Derek says, you can still order from the Eagle Griffin website. Um, let's see if there's anything else.
It's really good. Definitely recommend it.
There's a couple of eBay listings. I don't know if it's for Rococo Deluxe because you can't ever trust what it says. But I mean, it's
But either edition is great.
yeah. So
With the original edition, you get red tokens.
yeah, and you love the red tokens.
I'm a
So
red player. Gotta
well,
like
here's
the red tokens.
so I see a copy in the geek market right now for 59. Another one for 70. Another one for 69 that says Rococo with K's. It's okay to get the version with the K's.
I
You
had
have the
that. I had
version
that.
with the K's.
Yeah, that's the
So
original. Or that's
just
the
because
German
it
or whatever.
says ROCOCO or ROKOKO, it doesn't matter as long as you're getting the Rococo with K's as an English/German, second edition
Yeah,
usually,
it's
or
all
first edition. So
language,
yeah,
like dependent or whatever.
independent. Yeah,
Independent.
because yeah,
Yeah, because there's no words or anything. I mean,
right. It's all symbols. It's all symbols.
yeah,
So yeah, um,
definitely a game everybody needs to play.
yeah, it's fantastic, and so I'm all about theme. The theme works for what they have going on with this. You're also putting tokens on decorations and getting the little statue decoration points. And if you don't get them, your opponents will. So you can't. It, it, everything depends on what your opponents are doing. There's a whole lot of player interaction. You're getting things before your opponents are. It works really well with two. Uh, the community says it's best with three. We don't know. I've never played it with.
Well, it's because like so with the 2 and 3 player sideboard, it gets a little more cutthroat for those spaces, like you say. This interaction, it's
Yeah.
more so interaction because somebody will be getting shut out of something. And then you flip over the other side for 4 and 5 players, and yeah, I probably
644. Go
yeah, I
ahead.
probably wouldn't say 5 is great just because it's so long. The game gets
Right.
really long with 5.
644 ratings, an 8.5 average.
It's really good. It really is good.
That's fantastic. And what? I'm trying to find the rank on there. It re-implements Rococo. Rococo is ranked 225. So that might be why it doesn't have a rank, is because it's lumped in with Rococo, maybe? But that doesn't make sense. So I don't know why it doesn't have a ranking. Maybe
Oh,
because there's no
the
rule.
deluxe version doesn't have a ranking because not enough people have rated it, probably.
644 ratings.
Oh,
Plenty of ratings. Rococo 2013 has 7,500 ratings and rates 7.6. So I don't know.
Rococo is better than Shakespeare. 100% agreed.
So there you have it. Rococo, my game of January.
Yay!
And now I'll have something. So whenever the end of 2021 happens, I'll actually have it in some form that I can go back to.
I didn't add it as a new to me because it's very much the same as the old one. So
Agreed.
I didn't think it was necessary to have it as a new to me because yeah.
Somewhere out there, Scott Ferrier said.
Because he loves Shakespeare. That's funny. Carnegie.
Carnegie.
Carnegie. No,
That is
okay. My
no,
number
it's not
one.
going to be Carnegie.
My number one.
Because Carnegie was your number one of November and my number one maybe of December, I think.
Gotta be. And
So
my number one of the
Carnegie is not
year
there.
last year.
Yes, it was.
So, and
So
shit, I hit my knee. The more I play Carnegie, the higher rating it gets. Like I love it.
oh my
even
goodness.
More.
Is it in your top 10 yet?
Not yet, but it's on
Not
its
yet.
way. It's getting there.
So your number one is a game I have not played yet, so I assume eventually I will get to play it. It's got 1,100 ratings already.
Because it
At an
came out
8,
in Europe, but it's not yet available.
8.4 average.
It's called Praga Kaput Regni.
And everyone wants to play it right now.
Yeah, it's a hot game. It hopefully will come my way because Rio. I'm like Rio. I love Vladimir Sushi. Send his games my way. I really love his titles. His games are fantastic. This game it's rough. It's rough because there's a lot of interaction and a lot of things that score off of other things. So this game right off the bat won't be for everybody. Like there's already a list of people I'm like, nope, I'm not playing it with them.
What, Cutthroat you mean?
It's just so let's just say it has a action selection mechanic where you take the action. Where whatever act you take this tile, it has 2 actions on it, you choose one to do. And then the space it's located on, you'll get a bonus action. Cool. Your player board you might have upgraded that action, so you get a bonus over here. You might have collected a tile that gets you a bonus if you do the X, Y, and Z. Because it's on the wheel, it gets you a point. Because it's on a space on the wheel, it gets you a point. So then you get a bonus for the bonus token that you have.
A
So
bonus
like,
for the bonus.
no, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. So not only are you taking this action, but then you get this bonus over here. You might get a point over here. You might have this bonus thing over here, and then you might have this trigger over here. So you have to remember to do all of this stuff, and then after you do your action, you might have other things that are triggering based on what you just did. So it's like, okay. A lot. So like as Derek said, lots of little details, and so there needs to be some sort of order in which you trigger these different things and make sure, almost like a checklist. Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? And for a lot of people, that could be very annoying, frustrating things to manage. For me, it's not so bad. I'm usually pretty good about remembering, oh, this. Kind of looking around, make sure I got everything. But
So you're saying is deep and crunchy.
It's deep and crunchy. Yeah, I mean, there's 6 actions that you can possibly do, and like upgrading or build a building or build a wall segment or collect gold or collect stone or go on a walk. And so everything is very straightforward. It's a matter of everything that triggers off of what you do.
I'm looking at a lot of the images to try to get an idea
Yeah,
of everything.
it looks very busy. It looks like a lot is going on the board, but it's actually fairly straightforward. But it is a
Right.
crunchy Euro that has a lot going on, but it's not hard. That's what I'm saying. It's not hard, but it's very fiddly. It's
Yeah,
like,
I'm looking at the prototypes of the little rondelle wheel, and it looks like they upgraded it quite a bit. Are the components 3D, like the little bridge and the castle pieces and everything? Are those 3D in
I
the
know
box? It
that the
looks like they
castle
are.
is. I know the castle is a 3D like kind of thing that you put together.
It looks like the bridge might be too, and you can then
Yeah, I think the
interchange.
bridge is.
There's
Yeah.
like 5 slats on the bridge,
Yeah,
and that you
that.
can trade them out so
Yeah.
that they're not
So
static.
if you walk along the pathway, you'll eventually get to this bridge. Once you get to the bridge, you choose one of these tiles that get placed on the bridge, and then you'll get
Oh,
bonuses depending on what tile you choose. And so, like I said, you get a lot of little bonuses with every little thing you do. It's just a matter of making it work. But I can see like a lot of people having problems like forgetting, a point here and there, and then it's just like you don't want to forget the point here and there because you might lose by a couple points at the end. I mean, our games have been very close in score, so forgetting 1 point on this turn and 2 points on that turn because you didn't do it correctly or whatever, it could mean you lose the game. So a lot of people will probably like remember something after it's already like 2 turns down the line. You're like, oh, I forgot this. You just kind of have to let them, you know, what's the word? Rectify that.
retcon.
Retcon it. Yeah. You just have to just let them do that because it's gonna happen a lot, especially in your first few games where you miss things. Like,
Well, the weight says it's only three on BG, only 3.64 out of 5, so it's not.
that's what I'm saying. The game itself is not hard. It's actually very straightforward. Um, but like I said, it's pretty much combo tastic depending on what you're doing. You're gonna get
But
a
is it?
lot of different little points here and there for whatever.
So the question is it freely available? Because I see 4 copies on the Geek Market, 2 of them in the U.S.
Well, so I think Rio Grande is not out yet. I think it's like end of Q1 or early Q2. So it's gonna be available like
soon.
fairly soon. Um, so
So you need to keep knocking on Rio's door for that.
no, I definitely.
That
I mean,
sounds
I
fantastic.
just wrote to him the other day, so hopefully he gets back to me. But I'm very excited for this game. I think you will like it.
Oh, I'm fairly sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fairly crunchy. Again, I do think a lot of people will have a problem with the fiddliness of the combos. But I think it will be much better in person. I've only played it online, so it's really hard to see what's going on online. Whereas if you're playing it on a table, you'll see people's hands moving around and seeing what they're doing and talking it out easily and just, did you do that? I think it will be easier to manage in person.
Yep. Seems good.
Yeah.
So
no,
that's our top 10. Rococo
Yay!
and Praga Caput Regni getting the top spots.
That was about
So,
2 hours to get through our top 10. It took a while, but we talk a lot.
we talk a lot. Plus, I think I don't know if you guys like it, but I think it helps. I think it helps to say, hey, is this available or not? Where can we get it? Are there copies in the geek market? Because I want to go grab this now. So hopefully that helps somebody get something new on their shelf.
I think
Because that's ultimately what we're doing.
Yeah, I think that's a nice addition that you included. So
hopefully it doesn't make it too long for people.
Nah, it's fine.
I just need to start talking less about the game, I guess.
No, we like talking about the game. It's fine.
Yeah. All right.
It's fine.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back.